Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here, and in today's video I will be reacting to the comments made by GM Martin Mayhew and head coach Ron Rivera about the possibility of linebacker Cole Holcomb being the middle linebacker that they have been looking for a while. So I'll talk about if I think that is correct or not, and if they'll still pursue a linebacker in free agency or the draft. So if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe for Washington and NFL content. I'm close to 7,500 subscribers, so please help me get there. Also, hit that like button and turn on those notifications. It really does help out the channel. And go ahead and follow my Twitter, trying to get to 1,000 followers on there. Now, let's get right into the video. So, over the last couple of days, Martin Mayhew and Ron Rivera have made some comments about the possibility of Cole Holcomb being their middle linebacker. And before after the season ended, a lot of people thought middle linebacker was one of the biggest needs besides quarterback, myself included. And a lot of us, viewed Cole Holcomb as an outside linebacker because that's what pretty much Ron Rivera said after the season. I don't have an exact quote, but I'm pretty sure he said that he viewed, Jamin Davis and Cole Holcomb more as outside linebackers. And that's why at the end of the season, I believe the Eagles game and maybe even the Giants game, instead of having Cole Holcomb starting at middle linebacker, Ron Rivera had David Mayo as the mic and then Cole Holcomb and Jamin Davis as the outside linebackers. But I'll read this right here from Martin Mayhew, and we'll read some quotes from Ron Rivera too. So he says, this is Martin Mayhew: "We feel like Cole Holcomb has a chance to go in there and play Mike for us, so there's not a tremendous urgency to go and do something right there. He did a good job when he was in there. He kind of grew in that position last year when he got an opportunity to play some Mike. We'll see how it plays out. Cole's an option for us." And definitely an option to play the Mike position. I thought before this past season that was definitely a possibility for Cole Holcomb. But I think this year when you saw him play, I do believe, he played better as an outside linebacker. Like when David Mayo was playing middle linebacker for them, I thought Cole Holcomb had his best game. I believe it was against the Eagles. I'm not sure. But when he was playing middle linebacker, I don't know. He was still fine, but he's not what you want in a true middle linebacker. There's, of course, there's better guys out there, and he's better suited, in my opinion, to play outside linebacker. But if you need him to play middle linebacker, you can for a few games, but I definitely still think they should go after a true middle linebacker. And Ron Rivera said today he feels really good about what Cole Holcomb has done. Said they got a clear view of his development after they evaluated the full roster this offseason. Spoke highly of his play and his future with the team. And I agree. I think Cole Holcomb is a solid linebacker in this league and should be a part of this team for the next few years. And I would not mind an extension with him. I think he is a really good football player, or not a good football player, and a good guy to have in the locker room. Some more quotes. We talked about this. Mayhew said Holcomb is an option and that the rising fourth-year player and signal caller improved game over game last season. And, Ben Sandick said Washington lacks depth regardless behind Holcomb and 2021 first-round pick Jamin Davis. So they still need a linebacker. It doesn't matter. Even if you do view Cole Holcomb as a Mike linebacker, you still have to address that linebacker position, because right now the group is looking really, really thin because you have Jamin Davis, Cole Holcomb, and then like Khalik Hudson and David Mayo. Like, even if Cole Holcomb is that Mike, you need another linebacker. You need another outside linebacker. So this really doesn't change anything. I think, Cole Holcomb is better suited to play outside linebacker. But here's some, of his stats. He had over 100 tackles last year, 11th most tackles in the league, 2nd most pass breakups, 4th most combined interceptions / forced fumbles, and he has that fantastic mullet. You guys can look at all of his stats right here. So 142 tackles, 1 sack, 2 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovered, 2 interceptions, and had that touchdown against Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. And you look at the advanced stats, not as good. Allowed a 74% completion percentage. Isn't terrible, but definitely not good. 95% or 95.7 passer rating. So that's like average to below average, because the average pass ratings, in that 90s range. So he's not great in coverage, but in 2020, he was pretty good in coverage, allowing a 61% completion percentage and only a 64 passer rating. His tackling's been good though. He improved his tackling a little bit this year. I like to look at this stat right here, missed tackling percentage. It's gone down, or it went down from 2020 to 2021. Anything under 10% is generally pretty good for a linebacker. So 7-8% is pretty good. So I like him. Again though, not as a Mike linebacker. And this is what John Keim said. Ron Rivera said that yes, Cole Holcomb would be a possibility at middle linebacker, but John Keim says, I will say I've heard this a few times this offseason, but would still view middle linebacker as something they want to add. Feeling has been Holcomb is a more natural outside linebacker. Gives them an option though. Still need linebacker depth. So maybe this is some, disconnect between the front office and Ron Rivera. Ron Rivera viewing Holcomb as an outside guy, and Martin Mayhew viewing him as a middle linebacker. Or the more likely option is that it is draft season and that they're trying to throw in a bunch of misdirection. It happens every offseason, especially around this time of year, free agency, but more even the draft. And you saw even before free agency, like the Seahawks were like, we're not going to trade Russell Wilson. And then, I think Pete Carroll said that. And then, of course, 1 week later, they trade Russell Wilson. And this is obviously not as important as trading Russell Wilson, but it is still good to, try to stir some things up, have these teams and even, media members not really expecting what you're going to do so that, you have some leverage. And that's why, partly Washington's been at a bunch of the QB's pro days, so teams don't think they're totally out on these QBs, because if Washington didn't go to a single pro day, then hey, these teams know that Washington's not going to take a QB, and Washington would have a little bit less leverage in a trade down scenario. But in terms of Cole Holcomb, I like Cole Holcomb. I think he's a solid player. I still think though, adding a veteran middle linebacker is 100% needed. Someone who is better, at the very least, better than David Mayo. So at the very minimum, sign someone like AJ Klein. I know it's going to get, upset some people because he's a former Carolina Panther, a former Buffalo Bill, but he's an okay starting middle linebacker. He is better than, David Mayo, and he's a serviceable starter. You have him, maybe get a rookie in the second round or maybe in the third if you trade back and get some assets, and I'm fine with that linebacker room with, Jamin Davis, Cole Holcomb, you have AJ Klein, and then a rookie in that second to third round range. I'm fine with that group. What I'm not fine with is this group plus like a third round rookie or fourth round rookie. Do not want that. Or even a first round rookie. Like, I'd rather not draft a rookie linebacker, not because I don't think there's linebackers worthy of getting drafted in the first round, and not because I don't think it's a position need, because I do think it is our biggest position need. But I don't really like the idea of drafting a rookie linebacker, middle linebacker, who's going to be our signal caller, and having Jamin Davis on the other side of him, who is still very raw, didn't play a ton last year, and started 1 year in college. So he is pretty much a rookie, basically. And Cole Holcomb is a vet at this point, but he's still somewhat young. I believe this is going to be his fourth year. So I just don't necessarily like that, because just too many young players right there. At least get a solid veteran, and then I'm okay with drafting a guy somewhat early. Still would prefer not the first round, but if you trade back into the 20s, then okay, that's fine. That's fine if you get a Nakobe Dean or Lloyd from Utah. So that would be an okay option for me, but I prefer signing someone in free agency like Alexander Johnson, who I think would be perfect for Washington. Doesn't necessarily fit the scheme. He, in the last few years has played in the 3-4, but I do believe he can play that, in a 4-3 defense. And then you would have him as a middle linebacker, Cole Holcomb and Jamin Davis as the outside linebackers, and then, draft the guy in the middle rounds or third, if they trade back, get some more assets in that third round and, develop him. But that would be my ideal scenario. But I don't know. Maybe they do truly view Cole Holcomb as a middle linebacker, but that would be interesting because they've changed their thoughts a lot on these linebackers. Thinking Jamin Davis is a true middle linebacker, and then switch, thinking now he's an outside linebacker. Cole Holcomb, I believe when he got here, was originally a middle linebacker, then switched to outside, then middle linebacker, then back to outside, and then, now maybe switched back to middle linebacker. So a lot of switching around, especially by this regime, in terms of their views on Cole Holcomb, but this could be, again, just trying to stir up some rumors. But, that's going to do it for today's video. Let me know your thoughts on Cole Holcomb, if you think he's more of a middle linebacker or an outside linebacker. I think he can play both, but again, he's a better outside linebacker, and we still need to fill that hole at the very minimum. Someone like AJ Klein, but preferred would be Alexander Johnson, or even better, Bobby Wagner. But we know they're not going to be, they're not going to want to spend $11+ million to get someone like Bobby Wagner, but that would be ideal. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, please hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and turn on those notifications so you never miss a video. Peace, guys.